I was still disappointed in the playmaker. The lawyer deal with that. That's what Mike should have told. He didn't get angry. All right, this is Trump and the GE and the stock exchange, of course, and this is Michael Irvin co-signs Tyreek Hill nonsense. And as a lot of people know, Tyreek Hill was arrested for speeding Sunday morning before the Miami Dolphins game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was apparently driving about 20 miles over the speed limit, and he was stopped in his very expensive sports car by the Miami police, and it turned into an incident. The police he stopped. He gave the police officer his license and registration. The police officer asked Tyreek Hill to keep his window rolled down. Tyreek wouldn't listen. He wouldn't comply. He asked Tyreek Hill several times to keep his window rolled down. Tyreek wouldn't do it. Then he told Tyreek, if you don't let your window down, I'm going to drag you out of the car. Tyreek still didn't let the window down. He started talking to the guy. He was talking on the phone. He talking on the phone, howling and screaming and carrying on, not doing what he was told. They dragged him out of the car. He was on the phone, talking to Drew. Drew, come get me. Drew, they arrested me. Then he started talking to his teammates. What was talking for? And so they dragged him out of the car, arrested him, handcuffed him, had that knee in his back. He's still howling and screaming, talking to his teammates, talking to Drew on the phone. And then they told him to sit down. He said he wouldn't do that because he just had knee surgery. It was just a scene. And here's Michael Irvin's take on the Tyreek Hill situation. And I was a little disappointed in the playmaker. I'm a big fan of Michael Irvin. I'm a little disappointed in what he had to say. But I'm not necessarily shocked because, all the same talking points from most black folks regarding these matters. I'll share my screen.
And the more I go through life, I says, I'm glad it has gotten this way. And I'm sure Tyreek Hill is glad it had gotten this way. Now you hear the stories are coming out and the police reports coming out saying that he was uncooperative and all of these things. So they're trying to justify the results that people have shown on video. They're trying to say there was a reason. There's a reason we acted this way. But even when I saw the body cam video, dude, come on, man. Let's break this down for real. Let's break it down. Now, I know what I tell my sons, and I know what I was told growing up as a black man. Whenever you get pulled over, don't make any sudden movements, and always comply with what police officer is asking. That's how we were raised, but we were raised conditioned and scared. The real thing is, what is the law? The law, like once Tyreek Hill gave him the license, he's compliant. You can go check and run the license and see if there's anything there, come back if there's something you have to do. If there's a warrant for his arrest, then you come back and please step out of the car, please. We have a warrant for your arrest or whatever. But you can't just get mad because the man doesn't want to talk to you. He has a right to remain silent. Even though he's not arrested, he still has the right to remain silent if he wants to. And that's what I'm saying was absolutely messed. When he rolled up the window, I saw the officer. What I saw was anger. Oh, we're not having that today. Open the window. Let it down. I'm not talking. We're not having it. Okay. What are we talking about here? What is the officer saying we're not having here today? And how did he get so mad so fast? He just started with the Tyreek Hill thing. So how did he escalate up that fast He's bamming on the window. Open the door. We're not having this today. You know what I said? This isn't something that he brought into. This is something he brought into this situation with him and Tyreek Hill. He's already mad with something else. I don't know. His lady, I don't know, maybe she didn't kiss him that morning, or maybe she didn't let him hold him the night before. Whatever, he was already mad. And that's what I'm saying. When he got into that place, he was already spewing all of his anger to anyone that he was supposed to protect and serve. I'm telling y'all, that was wrong. I'm letting you know, I'm going to tell the truth right here. This is my new channel. This is the Michael Irvin official YouTube channel. I will be giving you only the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the gospel. Things I can't say on TV, I will spew it right here. And I'm telling you, when I saw it, I said, wow. I always, whenever I go places, whenever I get in places, if I see anybody serve, I always honor that. You know why? Because I'm a spiritual man. I'm a spiritual man. And the Bible says.
All right, so I'm going to break down what Mike said. Like I said, I'm not shocked. I am disappointed in the playmaker because Mike Irvin is a leader. Probably was a leader in high school. He's probably the guy who they had a problem in school. They would come get Michael Irvin, maybe some of the other student leaders to say, come solve this, because he was somebody who was respected in high school, college, and on the Cowboys organization. He was somebody who came to practice on time, worked harder than everybody else, and had goals and met those goals. These are the type of people who, people in the black community look up to. People who stand on, kids say stand on business, and they bring it. They practice hard, they play hard, they set goals, and they achieve those goals, regardless of the obstacles. So Michael Irvin, somebody definitely I respect a lot. Big fan of his in Miami with the Dolphins. With the Cowboys. I'm a Washington Redskins fan, but I definitely respect Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, those guys for what they did. They played at a high level and they represent excellence. That being said, I'm going to break down what he said. He said there's no way to justify the police's behavior. Okay. These are officers of the law. They've been entrusted to uphold the law. And nobody's taking your word over a police officer's word. Nobody. Nobody's taking Michael Irvin's word over a police officer's word. Nobody's taking Tyreek Hill's word over a police officer's word. Tyreek Hill has not been entrusted with the law to protect and serve. Officers have been. Those are the facts. It says something about the law. You have to know the law. You don't have to know any. You don't have to know the law if you're a citizen. Why do you need to know the law? That's what lawyers are for. You're supposed to. All you have to do is. I'm not saying all you have to do, but you're supposed to comply with the police officer. Period. If he's doing something that's not legal, you call your lawyer. Let your lawyer address that. Tyreek Hill has millions of dollars. He was on the phone talking to Drew while the officer was talking to him, telling him to let the window down. He could have called Drew when he got to the stadium. He wouldn't have been on the ground since he died to talk to Drew so much. He died to talk to Drew. Call Drew when you get to the stadium, and the officer lets you go. But at that moment in time, you are under the officer's authority. He said, Michael Irvin said something very interesting. He says, what he told his sons and what he was told and how he was raised, but that you comply with authority. And you always comply with the police officers, and you don't make any sudden movements. And the way he said it, the way Mike said it, was that there's something wrong with the way he was raised. I don't know where Mike Irvin's from. I think I saw something on, ESPN 30 for 30 that he's probably raised in a rough neighborhood, maybe by a single mom, but his mom did the best she could raising him. Everybody would love to grow up as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and live in Bel-Air in a mansion. But how Michael Irvin grew up is what makes him him. If he had grown up in Bel-Air, he probably wouldn't have made it to the Cowboys. So he made it seem there's something wrong with the way he was raised. He was raised properly to respect authority and respect the law and comply with the police officers. That's how he got to be the age he is now, probably. And he said that they were raised scared. No, that's the real world. And because you're making millions of dollars, because you have fame and fortune, and because you played for the Dallas Cowboys, you had 3 championship rings, nothing changed, Mike. You know different, you know better than anybody else. The same rules that applied to you when you were growing up, respect authority, respect police officers, and comply, applies now. Now, you can try to change the rules. We've seen you try to change the rules off the field, and where'd they get you? We've seen you try to act out and show that the rules don't apply to you because you're a superstar football player, and where'd they get you? We saw what they got you. So I think you learned that the rules do apply to you. I respect your gangster, but I'm saying he made it seem like there was something wrong with the way he was raised. And I was raised that way as well. And parents told him the real. And he may think because he went to the University of Miami, you're smarter than your parents, but you're not, Mike. Your parents were onto something, and your grandparents were onto something. Let's make sure that we're clear about that. You don't have any more brain cells in your head than your mama did. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful. He made it seem like there was something wrong with the way he was raised. He said you have a right to remain silent. That's a straw man argument. And what I mean by that, he's raising an argument that nobody's making. That's true. You have a right to remain silent, but that had nothing to do with this situation. The officer told Tyreek Hill, he commanded Tyreek Hill to keep the window rolled down several times, and Tyreek Hill didn't listen. Period. Now, if that's against the law, if Tyreek Hill didn't have to keep his window rolled down or what have you, that's against the law, and the officer didn't understand the law, it's not Tyreek Hill's place to explain the law to a man who have you under his authority, and the guy has a gun. He can come out to the precinct later on with his lawyer and explain, go to the body cam and explain what the officer did wrong. That's not the time to explain to the officer that why I gotta let my window down. That's not the time to ask those questions. So the officer was angry. So the officer was a jerk too. But he didn't acknowledge that Tyreek Hill was being a jerk. Talking on the phone, talking to Drew, hollering and screaming, talking to Drew, and not letting the window down, not keeping the window rolled down when the officer told him. Michael Irvin didn't acknowledge that. The officer was angry, maybe. Probably angry because Tyreek Hill wouldn't listen. Another one of those smart aleck football players, professional athletes who thinks he's above the law. So I don't know if he was angry, whatever, that's a strawman argument. The cop was overly aggressive, but Tyreek wouldn't comply. So they were both in the wrong in that sense, but the officer is doing his job, and Tyreek Hill would not comply. He said the officer was probably mad about something else, maybe. Maybe, but all Tyreek Hill had to do was do his job and comply with what the officer told him. Period. And Tyreek wouldn't comply. So, Michael Irvin's take is, and he started talking about the black man, all this other nonsense. Michael Irvin's take is totally, he's basically co-signing Tyreek Hill's nonsense. Instead of saying, Tyreek comply, and then when you get to the stadium in one piece, have your lawyer address these matters about if you thought the officer was overly aggressive or if you thought you didn't need to roll your window down or what have you. Have your lawyer address that. And I'm saying this because Michael Irvin is a leader and people look up to Mike and young kids are watching Mike and take cues from Mike. So anyway, that's my take on it. So I don't agree with Michael Irvin at all. I think he's co-signing Tyreek Hill's nonsense. For what, I have no idea. But anyway, that's Trump and the G. Thank you.